Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host, Matt, and with me this week is just Eli.
Hi, I'm Eli. I'm here to talk to you about Nintendo and Pokemon. Probably Pokemon Go, because, who are we kidding? Nothing else has happened.
A couple of things have happened. We'll see how long we can really stretch them out for or talk about them for, but yeah, mostly Pokemon Go. I didn't want to bring it. There's so much Pokemon Go news, I'm not even going to bother. It's just like more people got killed or something bad happened and then something good happened and then something strange happened. It's like I just can't keep up with this.
It's fun. I mean, did you see the story about the guy who turned himself in accidentally because he was playing Pokemon Go?
Yeah, he walked right into a police station.
Great. I mean, these are what people are listening for. This is truly like the pinnacle of my generation is when my kids are going to grow up and I'll be like, so, when I was, a youthful lad, as you will soon be, people were getting arrested because they were walking into Pokestops that turned out to be police stations, Yeah. This was the easy life,
Yeah. I did put in one Pokemon Go thing we'll talk about. It's just like a quick thing. But I guess we'll get on to what we've been playing. And I haven't really played anything worth talking about. But I sort of... Well, okay, so Pokemon Go finally came out in Canada. And as hard as I may try, I can't play it because basically you need a GPS chip in whatever device you have. And the Wi-Fi version of iPads apparently don't have them. Only the 3G ones. So I tried upsetting a hotspot even from my computer or doing all these other things. And I thought about linking to another phone or Apple device. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to link to my friends because that'd be mean using up their data or whatever. And then I remembered I do have a second iPad. It's an older generation, so it can't play the game. But it did have 3G on it. And I didn't realize that... to use the GPS function, you have to have a data plan on it. You can't just connect to the internet somehow. I don't really know how that works. I mean, maps still work on your device even without GPS, but regardless, I found out you need a data plan, and basically if I wanted to play it, I'd have to pay at least $10 a month just so I could have my old iPad have an internet connect or a data plan and then connect my new iPad to it, and then I have to walk around with two iPads and then just pay for this data plan just for Pokemon Go because my old iPad's too crappy for anything else and I'm mostly home anyway. So I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to play this in any respects. It sucks. And I don't know about the States, but Canada has the worst cell phone plans imaginable. My friend is in Australia and he gets unlimited texts or calls or something. One of the things he gets is unlimited. And data he gets, I think 6 gigabytes a month or something really good for $35 a month. And in Canada, you basically have to pay $60 a month is apparently the average, just for a gig or maybe half a gig. And then a certain amount of texts or calls or whatever and whatnot. It's so expensive and horrible. It's garbage. But I'm just ranting because our cell phone stuff sucks here. Anything that's cheaper than the $60 rate probably is a crappy carrier that doesn't get cell phone connections. So you're pretty much screwed here. Is it pretty bad in the States, or do you have a lot more variety?
I'm lucky. I don't pay for my data plan. I get. My carrier gives a gig automatically, no matter what plan you have included. Okay. And so, since my parents pay my cell phone bill, I get 1 gig of memory for free every month. And my carrier, specifically T-Mobile, actually offers unlimited data for Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So it's not a problem for me.
You also, you have to apparently redeem that in their T-Mobile Tuesdays app. I just saw.
Yeah. It's not automatic. All right, so that was your story about how you didn't play Pokemon.
Yeah. Something that's somewhat related to video games, sort of, is, so my birthday was this week. It's technically the day this is launching. But we haven't... Thanks
for reminding me to wish you a happy birthday.
You're welcome. So we had my party on the weekend just with some close family, and my mom was asking me, what do you want for her birthday? I'm like, I don't know, just give me money and I'll figure out what I want to do with it later in case I change my mind. What I actually got was a flight sim experience. So tomorrow I'm going to be going in like this flight sim experience in like a realistic airplane. I think it's just like the one on Mythbusters where they go in and try to land a plane, that episode. But yeah, it has like the 50 bajillion buttons on it and everything. So it's not just like, oh, I downloaded a flight sim on Steam and I'm using this stick controller. It's like the real deal. It's like for training pilots and whatnot. So that's going to be pretty crazy. I'll have to get back to that on next week, but
that'll be cool.
Yeah, it's somewhat video game related. Yeah, so what have you been up to this week?
So let's see, what have I been playing?
Oh, sorry. Quickly, before to interrupt you here. So Rogers is the main carrier in Canada because they basically own everything from like the cables in the ground to probably cell phone towers, knowing them. So $10 a month gets you 100 megabytes, which is not a lot. My friend used 170 megabytes for playing Pokemon Go for 10 hours or something. So I guess if I played for 5 hours, I would be under that limit. But just for data, 100 megabytes for $10, half a gig for $30, 3 gigs for $45, and then 6 gigs for $65. And then
that's like bad.
Yeah, and then like
this
in other
countries, addition to your regular service.
Probably. I'm just looking specifically at like how much data you get a month.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably get plans like with texting and all that other crap, but just for like
calling and yeah. What you might do on a phone.
Yeah, I was just looking at like the data specifically for if I just wanted that, but that's pretty much what you get for cell phone plans here. It's garbage, especially in other countries where it's $35 a month. You get like 3 to 6 gigs or whatever. I'm like, I hate you. Sorry. I just wanted to do that before, since I was able to get it before you went on. Go on. What were you playing this week?
Yeah, so I've been playing, surprise, Pokemon Go. And I'm now level 16, although once I use my Lucky Egg and evolve everything, I'll be like level higher.
Yeah.
Or 2. I'll probably be like 18. So I'm making good progress. I think by the time school starts up again, I'll probably be around 22, which is like pretty good. That's pretty much the cap.
Is there a cap so far, or is it just
no? There's no cap, but after level 20, it starts costing substantially more XP to evolve. So, or level 20, because right now it takes about 20,000 XP for me to go from level 16 to 17, and then it's going to be 25,000 XP. And so to get from level 19 to 20, it's 25,000 XP. After that, though, it starts increasing by 25,000 for every level. So to get from level 20 to level 21, it's 50,000 XP, so the equivalent of 2 levels before. Then to get from level 21 to 22, it's 75,000 XP, and then 100,000 XP. So pretty much, if you reach level 22, you're good. You're going to be okay.
Oh my gosh.
And so I know. Jose Otero at IGN just tweeted that he just reached level 22. So he'll probably be stuck there for a little while. And so, yeah, I've been playing that. I've been actually going to the mall a few times to catch Pokemon there. I think my Pokedex is like more than 50 Pokemon. I don't know if I'm at 55 yet, but somewhere around there. In terms of the different varieties. And, yeah, I mean, it's still a blast to play. Every time I go out, if I'm going to a central location, there are always other people there playing. Gyms are starting to get a little stronger in terms of people are controlling them for longer periods of time, which is, I guess, a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing if you're Team Red. Bad thing if it's any other team. Yeah, it's I still love it. Like, honestly, I reviewed the game at Nintendo Enthusiast. I gave it an 8.5. And it's because I think, like, the social phenomenon that it is, like, the game itself, its mechanics aren't very deep, but I think that's totally okay because the social interaction that you have is pretty spectacular. And let me just also point out that I am a hippie liberal and I am all for, like, social justice stuff and But I read a pretty crappy article the other day. I don't know if you saw it, Matt, about
is this the one in the newspaper?
Yeah, it was like Pokemon Go's not an excuse to chat me up or something like that. And I'm like,
gosh,
actually, if you're playing Pokemon Go and you are out in public, yes, it is an excuse to talk to you because you're doing the same thing I'm doing, and it's no, my God. And the last paragraph was like the worst. I actually have it. Oh my God, I can pull it up really quick because I sent it to my friend earlier, so it's like readily available. But pretty much, she sounds like one of my middle school bullies. And my middle school was a pretty terrible experience. And I'm just going to read it out loud so everyone else can appreciate how terrible this is. Quote, "What happened to the good old days when gamers stayed firmly indoors with no need to venture outside and nerds feared social interaction? If only there was such a thing as Pokemon Go away." And I read that and I'm literally like, this was my middle school bully right here. Like, this is the person I couldn't stand that like made my life a living hell. Well, it's like,
oh my gosh, it's funny because some people I think generalize gamers too much to the point where they're like, oh well, they just hate this person or that person or this group of people or that group of people. And I think it's total bullcrap. But it's funny that they complain about gamers hate this and that, and then she's basically saying the gamer version of get back to the kitchen. She's basically saying go back to the basement, like get out of my face. It's like, geez, lady, what are you even writing this article for? How are you in the technology section if you? I can't even. It's so bad. Her big complaint is I was doing something and someone talked to me. Really?
Yeah,
like you're the one demonizing other people about being socially, inept, and you're the one that can't even tell someone, yeah, could you please stop talking to me or I'm not playing this game.
She took a polyroll. She said saying it was like a high level polyroll or something like that. She said that was like sexual innuendo, and I'm like, no, it's not. Stop it. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Oh my gosh, it's people trying to make something big out of something that's not.
Yeah. Oh my God. And this is coming from someone who, is usually on the side of like, the side that everyone hates. But anyway, I just want to point that out because that really annoyed me this last week. The other thing I've been playing is Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which is the newest Assassin's Creed game. I got on, like every year I always buy it a few months after because it drops in price to $20 and it's like, why would I ever pay $60 for it?
That's the one where you have the two main characters, right? Yes. I don't remember their names. Arno and Evie, I think? No, Arno is from a different game.
Yeah, no, it's not Arno.
It's Evie and some other guy. I don't know. I think they're British.
Yeah, I forgot. It takes place in England. Honestly, I think the game is really good. Like, I really like it. So Unity was the one that came out before that year in France. I thought Unity was not good. I thought it was like not okay. It was trash. In terms of like the glitches everywhere, the fact that platforming was not fun, like you'd run into walls, like it wasn't intuitive. It wasn't very fun. The story wasn't very engaging. The cities were not that unique. London, however, is an interesting locale. The story is, relatively interesting, and the platforming feels very good. Like it feels like it's intuitive, and it feels like it knows where I want to go. Very rarely is it like running. What happened all the time in Unity is like I'd want to run through a window, for example, and I'd hit the wall, and it wouldn't go through. And like 5 times I'd hit the wall instead of going through the window, and like it didn't know what I wanted to do, But in Syndicate, it's very good about like doing what I want it to do. It's an excellent game so far from what I've played. I love the mission structure. The missions are kind of shorter, which I appreciate, like maybe 10 to 15 minutes long. They're exciting. I like the carriage riding, honestly. Like, and the city of London is very cool to explore. It's not like too big of a map. It's relatively concentrated. I think it's a very good Assassin's Creed game. Probably the best one I played since 4, because I really love 4. But
I heard you get like a grappling hook in this game. Does that take away from the climbing aspect?
No. First of all, I actually barely use the grappling hook. because I do like climbing. But yeah, you can use it to scale buildings if you're too lazy to climb down and then back up. It actually makes your life easier, because in previous games, if you want to go from one building to another that was made perhaps farther away, you'd have to climb all the way down, run over the other building, climb all the way up. In this one, yeah, you can just use the grappling hook to grapple from one to the other. It's really, you can do assassinations from the grappling hook, so you can like almost like a zip line down and then assassinate off of it. It's very cool. I'm really happy with the way the game turned out. It's the best Assassin's Creed game I've played in a few years.
Nice. Did you play the one that takes place in the Arctic? It came out alongside another one.
Oh, Rogue. Is
Yeah.
that the one that was on last generation consoles, and so that I think came out alongside 4? No, I didn't play it.
Oh, okay. I heard that was decent.
I heard it was okay as well, but I didn't play it now because, man, who wants to play their old consoles? Although, to be fair, I guess Xbox One now has backwards compatibility, and if Rogue is backwards compatible, then maybe I'll go back and play it.
Cool. So I guess we'll get into announcements and things. So the one Pokemon Go thing I wanted to bring up, because there's just too many to include, and they're not really anything you can really talk about. But the one biggest thing I found is that Pokemon Go is basically breaking like every milestone imaginable. They're the number one game in each of the 33 countries the game is launched in, at least at the time of writing this, which is insane. I think it's doing number one at least in revenue, if not like just the number one overall game as well, or probably both. And it's doing better than Clash Royale, which was like the previous biggest thing, and that actually had marketing behind it. And Pokemon Go is just like based on word of mouth. Like I don't even think they released a trailer near its release.
There was a trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, still, it's not like they put it on like TVs, or I haven't seen any YouTube ads, so it's just insane how far that game has gotten with like very little push behind it.
Yeah. Oh, just a quick thing. Yeah, there was a launch trailer. Oh crap. This is not where okay. And it's gotten, I can't find the official one, but there was a launch trailer. I'm trying to figure out how many views it got. But yeah, they didn't pay for anything other than this trailer.
Yeah.
In terms of marketing or whatever.
Yeah, it's just insane how far this game is going. I'm wondering how long it'll last, or when people will start dropping off.
Yeah, and I feel like I have a little bit of a skewed perspective. Like every time I go somewhere, I open it up, and I'm looking like, are there any Pokemon here? I run with it, with it on right next to me. I look for Pokemon while I'm running. Also, I almost got hit by a truck the other day while playing. So I guess I'll share that story really quick. Mm-hmm. I was running around our local park reservoir. It's like a lake, and I was on a trail, and I was running, and a Pikachu popped up. So of course, I'm gonna get the stupid Pikachu because it's the first one I'd gotten. And so I'm like trying to catch this thing, and I wasn't looking at where I was going because I was catching a Pikachu, obviously.
Oh, jeez.
And it turned out that it was a truck driving towards me on this trail, and obviously I didn't expect a truck on a trail because like who does that? And I almost hit it like head on. So
oh my gosh,
that happened. But yeah, no, I mean for me, I guess it'll last. I think it might drop maybe a little bit towards the end of August, but the second I get back on campus, I feel like it's going to pick up again because there are gyms and Pokestops all over campus. And then maybe for a month people actually be playing it, but then it'll drop off again. I don't know. I feel like it also depends on when they introduce the second generation of Pokemon, because I know that's got to happen. So whether that comes this year or maybe like a year from now in an annual update with a new generation, which I could see happening. In which case everyone will start playing again next summer, I think. Yeah. I don't know. I think that it's got more staying power than a lot of people think, but it's not going to stick around, for, like, we're not going to be talking about this in 3 months. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm just more concerned about how long it'll last or how hard it'll be to jump in later, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not anywhere close to being able to jump into this game because I'd have to justify buying a smartphone, and honestly I barely use my phone to begin with. So I don't even know how long it would take for me to get to that point. So let's say in a year I get a smartphone. How hard? I'm just wondering how hard is it going to be for me to jump in when everyone's like level 40 or something? It's like I'm just starting. It's like
okay. So first of all, the soft level cap of 20, I think, is gonna. First, a lot of people might stop playing when they hit 20. Also, like, so we won't be dramatically over leveled, and you'll catch up relatively quick. It's not like most of our XP does not come from going to gym. So like at first, when you start playing, you'll get to level 5, you'll join one of the factions or whatever. There's probably no chance that you'll be able to take over a gym because they're all going to have super powerful Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't really get very much XP from fighting gyms. So you'll still be able to level up as we all have been through, evolving your Pokemon, lucky eggs, catching a ton of Pokemon, this, that, and the other. So your experience will be identical as long as you don't mind, that 3-week period at the beginning that you're catching up to everyone. Yeah. But I mean, the game's been out for less than 2 weeks now, and I'm already level 18, almost.
Yeah.
And so, I can't imagine it's going to be dramatically tougher to do if you just start up later.
Yeah, that's fair. I just wonder if, I guess when they'll change level caps or whatnot, I don't know. I guess they'll just wait it out.
I don't think they'll change the level cap. It wouldn't necessarily make sense to. I think it's okay. And Ingress has apparently had the same sort of deal with like the soft level cap, and they've never really changed it either.
Okay, cool. So apparently Splatoon is getting a water gun finally, at least in Japan. The one thing that made sense for merchandising, they could have done like a year or two ago or whenever the game came out. They're finally making it, and it looks like a proper Splatoon water pistol thing, so that's pretty cool. And the last weird thing is the fake NX controller that someone made with a 3D printer a while ago that kind of duped quite a few people on the internet, including myself. He put it on eBay, and I don't know if it was a joke or if he was just trying to get attention or actually trying to get money, but he put it up there, and the auction price at the time was like $4,000, and the buy it now price was like $10,000. So I don't know. Maybe he just wanted attention, but if he wanted money, he's just being a dick. It was probably just a troll thing, because the whole controller was a troll. But it was just fun to see it up on eBay. It's gone now. Alright, so on to some news. Actually, because it's my birthday week, and the N64 launched 20 years ago, I think this month, I thought it'd be a cool thing to do a little question. So what was your first console that you actually bought? If you want me to go ahead first while you think, or whatever, I'm good for whatever.
Bought with our own money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I remember? Yes, I remember. You can go first.
All right. So usually what happens with video games and consoles and whatnot when I was a kid is either you get something for your birthday or Christmas, and anything else you don't get. You just gotta wait for the rest. There's no allowances. I didn't even think about trying to swindle them and be like, if I get this grade, how about you get me this? It just, for whatever reason, never passed through my head to bother asking. Basically, that's how it went for me. And I don't know if you heard this, but it was my mom that said a couple of times, like, this is going to be your last system. Like, we're not going to buy anything else, blah, blah, blah. And eventually kept going on, which was hilarious. And then I just ended up buying my own stuff. But at that point, I think I had the Game Boy Color, the N64, the GameCube, the Wii, and I thought the Wii would have been the last thing, because it seemed like I think the GameCube was supposed to be the last one, and then it's like, okay, this is really the last one. So I felt like this pressure not to ask them for another console, so I ended up buying it with like birthday money, because I actually had enough at that point. I ended up buying my first DS, which was the DS Lite, because I really wanted to play Pokemon Pearl, because it was coming out at that point, and I couldn't not play it, because it's freaking Pokemon. Of course I'm going to play it. I forget, was there anything else to it? I was trying to be as sneaky as possible with it. I think I asked my mom to bring me to EB Games in the mall. And I had all this money, and I went up and like tried to stealth buy the DS. And like my mom's like, "Oh, what do you buy?" I'm like, "Oh, just buying a system, blah blah blah." Hey, look over there! Just don't pay attention to what I'm spending my money on. Go away! This is mine. But yeah, that's what I first bought. Oh yeah, sorry. The funny thing was I bought my DS Lite just as is, and then like a month later, a new DS Lite with like a game came with it. I'm like, well, that was poor timing on my part.
Yeah. Well, I can relate to the story where we're trying to sneak out a buy of something. My dad would always give me the most judgmental looks whenever I'd buy anything. So let's see. Growing up, I did get consoles from like our family friends that were super old. So for example, I was born in 97. Mm-hmm. So when the PS2 came out in 2000, yeah. Or the PS2 came out, I got the PS1 from my friends. So like I owned the PS1. I had a Game Boy Advance was gifted to me from my aunt. But the first console I spent with my own birthday money was the GameCube.
Nice.
Which I really wanted because I found out that it had Pokemon on it. So I ended up buying it because of Gale of Darkness and Coliseum.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the year I bought it. I want to say it was probably like 2004, 2003. I don't know, a few years after it launched. And I got a GameCube for $100. I remember this really well. It was $100. It came with Gale of Darkness, so it was a really good deal. And it had like a plate, like a cover plate on the top that had the Gale of Darkness like design. And so that was the first console I paid for with my own, although that was like birthday money and stuff, but like I saved up and everything. So that was the first one I paid for that way. And it was a big occasion we went. I also bought my DS that way. My parents would actually not buy me video games ever.
Oh, really?
Even on my birthday in like, I don't celebrate Christmas, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
Like whenever I get presents, there was never any video games. My parents were super against it. I would always have to buy it with myself my birthday money. As a result, there was actually a period of time where I would only get like one game every 4 to 6 months because that's all I could really afford as a kid. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, eventually, of course, like the Wii U I bought like with money I made from working because I was already working at that point. Yeah, I'm trying to remember, but yeah, everything else before that was pretty much birthday money. Obviously, PS1, Xbox One, I bought with my own money too. So, yeah.
Cool. Oh, that's funny. You actually worked for your money. I don't want to say a lazy bum, but the way I got money to buy games besides like holding over birthday money was basically every time my grandma visited, she would give us all money. So I just ended up like saving that and using that every now and again. It was weird. It was like an allowance or something. But moving on, Nintendo did something kind of crazy this week. They're bringing back the NES. Not the original console itself, but so basically how it works is they're not relaunching the old console as is. They're basically making a plug-and-play console. So it comes with like 30 NES games. It comes with a controller that you can actually use in your Wii remote because it has that weird funky adapter. So if you want to use this NES controller to play NES Virtual Console games, you can do that too because you can hook it up to the Wii remote. It costs about $60. Has like a lot of the best games on the NES, and you can buy some extra controllers if you want and whatnot. And it has save states and things like that, and it's pretty cheap. I don't know, this is weird. I guess Nintendo wanted to put something else out there for the holiday season because they only have Pokemon so far, and that's basically it.
Yeah, I saw the news. I thought it was cool at first. Then I went through and I'm like, oh, wait. Nintendo screwed this up. God damn it for thinking that Nintendo could do something right. Oh, wait, there's only 30 games. Okay. Oh, no internet. Oh, okay. Wait, I can't put that. All right. Guess I'm stuck with my 8th version of Mario and my 4th version of Zelda. And I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of irritated by the fact that there isn't like at least some sort of capability to expand your game library in this thing, because you know what this means. Next year you're gonna get the mini NES 2, like greatest hits edition, with whatever they didn't put in the first one.
I'm guessing it's for, I don't know, people who, I think someone else brought up a good point that it's probably for people who haven't played Nintendo consoles in decades and they're like, oh, the NES, I remember that. That was a good system. Hey, this thing's for $60 and it has all these old games I remember, blah, blah, blah. And maybe they're targeting that kind of group, because if you think about it, like, most of the Nintendo core audiences already owns, like, basically all of these games on Virtual Console, so there's no real sense in marketing, I guess, to them, because we already have it, so you're not going to make any money off of us, so I'm guessing that's who they're really targeting with this? I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps, although you did hear a lot of people in the Nintendo community freak out. But yeah, it did make, I think the Pokemon Go actually helped them out, because like Nintendo was already in the news, so then when they announced this, like, I saw that mini NES, like, even I work for a professor who's like kind of into gaming but not super into gaming, and he sent me an email and he's like, how excited are you for this thing, you know? So
I wonder if they got any ideas from Rare Replay, because that came out for $60, had like 30 rare games and whatnot, so I wonder if that had any hand into it.
I don't know, maybe. It's a pretty smart idea to whoever like signed off on it and came up with it, you know?
Yeah. It's weird. Basically, every third party on this console are all the people who were in Smash Bros. Or all the companies in Smash Bros. Capcom, Namco, Square Enix.
Yeah.
Except Konami is actually in this one.
Oh my god, Konami.
I guess they're like, we're already...
Are they even relevant anymore?
No.
The answer is no.
I guess Nintendo was like, we already have partnerships with these people, might as well keep doing something with it. So now into the next bit of news, which I think just came out today or yesterday, that not many sites have reported, last I checked, but apparently there's a heart rate monitor for the NX. And I'm not saying this is a rumor because I'll just explain it. Pixart, who develops heart rate monitors solutions, I don't know what the difference there is, but whatever. They are developing chips that'll support VR technology and also Nintendo NX gaming machines, is how they worded it. They got it from, it's from Digitimes, and they got it from Commercial Times, I think. It's a Chinese website that reported this. The chips are supposed to be finished by the end of 2016, which might be the reason why, the NX hasn't come out, because they wouldn't be able to finish it by the time they need to produce them. It's been used in wearable technology, and maybe this connects to like their quality of life initiative somehow, because that was supposed to connect with their consoles as well. So
yeah, well, wasn't there also, I don't know if you mentioned this, virtual reality as part of it too?
Yeah, I don't remember how I don't want to say how legit, but is it not confirmed?
Yeah, no,
this is a company. Like in this scenario, a company is reporting like, we are producing this product and it is for another confirmed product. So it's like pretty cut and dry. How legit, I guess, was the VR thing? Because I don't remember.
Well, it was in the same description. I think that, like, first of all, perhaps, okay, first of all, the thing to take with a grain of salt is this thing, if it says it's compatible with the NX, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be used. Like, maybe it's just, using the same sort of infrastructure or whatever it is. Maybe it's an accessory, this or that or the other, right?
Fair enough. It would be weird to have an accessory at launch, but possibly.
I mean, who knows? I mean, if Nintendo wants to release something that's cheap, and they're like, here's an extension of what you could do, like, then perhaps that'd be one way. Like, who knows? Maybe they're maybe they're launching an NX Fit, title. And this is just an accessory that, that you wear to keep track, like, to keep track of your heart rate and pedometer while you're out and about, and it connects back to your game. Like, we don't really know, right? Like, it could be anything that people aren't really thinking of. It doesn't necessarily mean it's something that's packaged in the box.
Mm-hmm. That's
fair. And for the VR part, like, once again, it could just be a compatibility thing. I've seen some weird stuff, like at E3, there was a VR bicycling thing. Okay, so, maybe this just means that this chip, whatever they're developing, is compatible with a variety of formats, including the NX. Like, we don't know, but if it is VR and it is with the NX in that respect, I think that ultimately, like Pear said, it's going to be something akin to a kind of a Gear VR, and I don't know if we brought this up before, I think, but. Something that's cheap. There are rumors that the NX is going to come with a screen controller. Maybe it's a thing where you just plug it into a Gear VR and that's it. We don't really know, but I don't think that people should be getting their hopes up, as you said. Nothing's really confirmed.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment that it could just be an accessory. Because I'm reading back on it, and I don't know if this is a direct quote from the Chinese article, and I can't even find the Chinese article, but they just said blah blah blah, adding that the chips will support next generation Nintendo NX gaming machines. So you're right, it could just be like this can work on this hardware because it has the same, I don't know, infrastructure, but whether they use it or not is another thing.
Yeah,
I've tried the Gear VR. It's meh. I don't want to be too down on it. It was pretty cool, but the screen was a low resolution, so I wasn't really, swayed by it. I'm like, okay, well, the depth is cool and it works well, but it still seems a bit laggy, and it still seems like the resolution is kind of crap. I guess. Fair,
Matt, have you tried other VR other than Gear VR?
No, unfortunately.
Okay. First of all, I'd argue that all VR is a similar quality.
Yeah.
I really, as I said, I'm not sold on like PSVR or Oculus or Vive, and I've tried all three.
Yeah.
And I've tried Gear as well. They're all like, I don't think it's good yet. So I think that might not just be exclusive to the Gear, as you said. I think it's across the spectrum. And then oh my gosh, oh yeah. And I did try Gear VR at E3 for when we were at the Naughty America booth, which may or may not be not safe for work material.
It's called Naughty for a reason.
Yeah, no, and actually, I thought that experience I had actually, like content aside, but in terms of pixelation, was actually probably the best VR I've seen. Because what they did, and this is actually something I would be okay with all VR doing, because I care more about the resolution than the full 360 view. But what they did is they actually compressed the screen, instead of it being 360 degrees and poor quality. What they did is they made it 180 degrees and double the pixel density, which I really appreciated. And so what ended up happening is that the quality was substantially better. It was like twice as good, and it was actually like good quality. But you couldn't see behind you. So like if you turned your head, you'd come up with a black screen if you went more than 90 degrees each way.
Yeah. Well, in that scenario, your eyesight is in the view of a head, and you're not going to be able to spin like your head around like you're possessed or something. So it definitely makes sense in that scenario.
Yeah.
Google Maps, that wouldn't really work. Hey, I'm going to turn around. Oh, there's the edge of the universe. What happened? Yeah. Actually, I went, in Google Maps, you can go to like buildings and you can look down from like the Eiffel Tower and whatnot. And it's really weird. You get like vertigo. You're like, oh, I'm just standing at the top of this building like several hundred feet in the air. It's scary. The other weird Nintendo thing was the supplemental computing device patent that we heard a while ago is apparently close to being a full patent. They've paid their issue fee or whatever because the patent was going to expire. And I don't know whether this means that I guess they own the patent, but does that mean they're that much closer to using it, or just that they're putting off other people from using it? Like, if you, like, how much more likely is a company going to use a patent if they pay for it? Like, couldn't they just pay for it anyway and be like, yeah, we're buying it, but we still don't want people to use it even if we're not using it, type of thing?
Yeah, it's probably the reason. Sorry I missed the news. What was the patent again?
It was the supplemental computing device where basically you stick another box beside the NX and it makes it stronger.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're gonna... Was it renewed? Is that what it was, or was it just filed? Because I thought that we already had something like that.
We did. It was... So basically the patent was going to expire, and they...
Oh, yeah.
They paid the issue fee, it says, to make... Yeah, that's apparently closer to making it a full patent.
So that nobody else steals it, so that they're never accused of, like... so that they still have rights for lawsuit's sake, so that they could sue someone if something was very similar. Mm-hmm. But usually what they do with these patents is, like, people actually file patents for what seems like the same thing. Like, Nintendo has a voice chat patent, as does Sony, as does Microsoft, and people are like, why are you doing that? And it's because all of them have, like, subtle differences, and, like, if you try to take someone to court, you've got to prove that they copied your design, and if you can prove a slight difference, then they didn't really copy your design. So it's probably there as a safeguard, because if someone else were to snatch that up, they would have to design something new.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured there wasn't too much to go into it. It just seemed like, hey, it's going to expire. It's like, oh, we better pay it so we can, make it last for the next couple of months and sit on it. Which is pretty funny because people make fun of other people for, like, sitting on website domain names, and then companies will just file patents left and right and be like, nah, we're just going to sit on it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, hey, they're happy to take your money, If you want to pay to reconfirm your patent every year or whatever, they'll be happy to take the money off your hands.
Yeah. So in more, I don't know, upbeat news or whatever, Darkrai is coming to Pokemon Tournament, or at least the arcade version. And I didn't even know, but apparently someone looked into the code of the game before and found out Scizor and Empoleon, the penguin, is coming as well. So I guess they're going to be DLC characters. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah. I'd never played Pokemon Tournament, so I have no comment.
I played the demo. It's pretty fun, but I'm not paying $60 for it.
No, I'll pay 20 for it, but It's a damn Nintendo game, so it'll take a while.
Yeah. Smash Brothers is basically the only fighting game I'll pay full price for because it has so much content in it. Anything else is just like online, arcade mode. That's it. It's like, well, that's not worth it. There's nothing in this thing. It's still surprising, as cool as these other Pokemon are, it's still surprising they don't have stinking Hawlucha in there, who should have been in the base game. Like, come on, you have a new Pokemon, it's a fan favorite, and it's a wrestling Pokemon fit for this game, and you put the stupid wrestling Pikachu in there, you jerks. Moving on, though. I don't know if you can really, you probably... Well, I know you can't attest to this, but I'm wondering how Pokemon Go will work in small towns, and I kind of brought this up before. But so far, it seems that it's not that great for people, from what I've heard from other people's personal experience. They could be in their town and, have just one or two in their town, or maybe just a handful. And what I actually did, because I can't actually play Pokemon Go, is I heard the game is based, the data is based off of Ingress. For the most part. So what I ended up doing is making an account on Ingress, and that actually can work on my iPad, surprisingly enough, even without the GPS chip in it. And I checked the map to see how it would, how many stops or how many different points of interest are in my town. And it's not a whole lot. There's some spread out here and there. There's probably like 10 or 15 maybe, like, just spread out, and they're all like at least a mile or more apart. Probably like 10 to 40 minute or 10 to 20 minute walks in between each other, which is definitely not great. Except for one part of my town where it has at least 20 of them, which seems decent, but if I want to go there, I'd either have to drive there for 10 minutes or I'd have to walk for 40 minutes. And it's like, that's not very good, because then it's just like I have to go out of my way just to try this, rather than, oh, I can walk down the street and just be able to find the spot like every now and then. And I'm not sure how Pokemon spots work with finding Pokemon, if they're even related or not. I figured it was just you walk X amount of distance and then like a random Pokemon pops up. I guess you could tell me about that, but
no, these are certain places. It doesn't matter how much you walk, and actually, like, once you catch them, it takes a little while to respawn. So if you're traveling in the same area back and forth, for example, you won't keep hitting them. You'll have to come back.
That's not good. And some other people are kind of cheesed off because it doesn't really work well in their area. They have some sort of survey or whatnot where you can suggest places, but that's still not like a great solution. And I'm wondering how long it'll take for them to get to that, because they still have to fix all the server connection errors and then launch in more places and then buy more servers. It's like, I wonder if this is even going to be like addressed, because most of their high traffic areas are obviously like big populated cities.
Yeah, although they now have that option on the site where you can request new points. So
yeah,
hopefully that'll help out. I don't know. It's kind of hard, going from a game like Ingress, which had a much smaller user base, and everything was user submitted. So it would make sense that if you're going to use all those same data points, that people kind of be shit out of luck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I wonder how long those people will play for, if those are probably going to be the first people that drop off the game, just because they'll be like, well, I'm not going to keep making a travel just to go play this game and whatnot. So whatever, hope they fix that. Moving on, apparently Square Enix doesn't have any plan to have Final Fantasy 15 on the NX, which sucks, because I would have wanted that. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to buy a PS4 and an NX at the same time, so I'm going to have to choose one or the other. They said there's a potential port down the line, but who knows if the NX sells well, sure, we'll put it on. If it sells like garbage, then of course we're not going to bother. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah. I don't care about the game.
Why, dude? It's a big problem.
No, I remember it's because, I told you it wasn't as good as we thought it would be in then. I don't know, we'll see. And even if I wanted to play it, I wouldn't play it on a Nintendo console. No offense.
Yeah. Trophies?
Yeah, trophies, and then there's also the thing that if it were to come to a Nintendo console, which we now know it won't, it'd be like 6-10 months later, less features.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it came at launch, then like I would get it if I had the NX, but by that point I might have gotten it on another console. But I don't know. Maybe the remake will have more luck, because that remake is not anywhere close to being finished. So they at least have time for that. And I guess like the last kind of news thing, this came out I think a week or two ago, but we didn't have time to go talk about it. Was there's a patent for a single screen with a touch screen, and I don't know about you, but I love the DS, and I would hate to give up the clamshell design.
I agree. I don't know if there's much more to say in it. I totally agree. People know what a DS is, pretty much based off of the way it looks in the two screens.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the 3DS is in a place where it needs to be replaced right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm skeptical as to whether that patent applies to a handheld device that you can actually take out of the house. I didn't read it specifically as you did, but I guess I don't think that it would be for another handheld console.
Well, I mean, I think if they're doing anything, it's the hybrid thing. So
I don't
probably work.
I don't know. I think a hybrid, as I pointed out before,
Yeah.
would be very expensive, and so they're very cost conscious.
Mm-hmm.
So if they did a hybrid system, I feel like it would have to be either delayed launches with home console first and then handheld a year later. But I don't see it costing $600 and launching on the same day.
Yeah. It could just be like an add-on, basically. Like if you want to take this out of your house, you can buy this handheld, and then play it that way. But it also has its own games, like they were saying before. I don't know. I could see that working.
Yeah, I don't know. It just sucks because we've got so many of these different patents and rumors and everything. It's hard. You get them mixed up. You don't remember which one you're talking about because there's so many of them.
They're coming out every week.
Literally, though, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what you want from me, Nintendo. Just tell me what it is, then I can stop wasting my time on all this, speculation and stuff.
Is the NX a toaster? Who knows? There's a patent that says it heats up. Apparently, this one's patent says it has built-in speakers, which whatever, and apparently it vibrates, which is weird for a handheld. Yeah. I don't even think I've found a phone that vibrates. Well,
I don't.
Yeah, phones vibrate for calls,
phone vibrate.
But
yeah, but I wouldn't feel comfortable if I'm playing a freaking game on a train or something. Every 2 seconds,
falls out of your hand on the train. You're like, crap.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know. If they have a single screen of some kind, someone better make a case like an iPad case where it just folds over and covers the screen with like a magnet. Because I don't know, how can you make a case in this day and age and not have the screen protected, like with an actual cardboard or fabric? Because a dumb little, there are plastic screen protectors that work well, but still, it doesn't seem like enough to me. I don't know. The clamshell is perfect. Don't mess it.
Yeah, seriously.
And I think that's about it for this week. Was there anything you found in the news that you wanted to talk about?
No, there were some fun Pokemon Go stories, but none of them were really that notable, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, doke. So you can find me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Paul Salon. You can find me writing at Nintendo Enthusiast. You can read my Pokemon Go review. And now I guess on Destructoid.
Cool.
I put a rant about parents that can't parent.
I haven't seen that, so I'm going to have to check it out.
All right.
All right, so wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, Destructoid now, and IGN. You can leave us comments and questions. We'll see you next time and leave gaming to Nintendo.